We have a new look at Jake Sully, and no, I'm not talking about the recently released trailer, as we got a bit more information thanks to an Empire magazine article. Avatar Theory here. I hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day. And if you want to read the article yourself, the link to this will be in the pinned comment and the description below, as Empire Magazine has begun releasing segments of their new edition, their Avatar Fire and Ash edition of the magazine, which will have a bunch of new information on the movie. And recently I spoke about a potential animation featurette that Cameron would like to work on, but in this article, in this video, I want to talk about the new image that was released about Jake Sully and what the article says about Jake. Now firstly, I will go over the content of the article itself and then go over the image, as the article is titled Avatar Fire and Ash will be painful for Jake Sully. He goes back to war, says Sam Worthington. The article goes, quote, across the first two Avatar movies, Jake Sully goes through a lot. The protagonist of James Cameron's sprawling epic sci-fi saga, played by Sam Worthington, began as a human, no longer able to use his legs after a war injury. Then he gained the opportunity to hop into a big blue Na'vi body, fell in love with the Na'vi warrior Neytiri, fought another war, entered his Na'vi body permanently, raised an entirely family of blue kids, fought in another war, and tragically, in the final reel of Avatar The Way of Water, lost his eldest son Neytiri in battle, struck down long before his prime. Now, as Cameron prepares to unleash Avatar Fire and Ash, Jake is about to face all new trials. With the new film starting just 2 weeks after The Way of Water, Neytiri's untimely passing remains raw. Cameron stated, quote, everybody in the movie is reacting from a place of trauma, end quote. The article then interviews Sam Worthington as he says, quote, everybody, Jake's processing the death of his son. Jake and Neytiri's other son, Loak, is processing the death of his brother and his own guilt around that, end quote. As Worthington explains, the more protective side of Jake that we saw in The Way of Water has been eroded as a result. Continuing, quote, the peacemaker that Jake was in 2 has changed because he's grieving. He doesn't know how to go forward, and so he goes back to the world that he knows, which is soldiering, to attack, to go to war. That's a comforting place for Jake, end quote. Crucially, all that emotional damage threatens one of the strongest cores of the Avatar story, the relationship between Jake and Neytiri. Worthington states, quote, because of Neytiri's death, there is now a division in that relationship. That's a great design by Jim. How do you split apart the perfect love story? Jake and Neytiri shares this painful wound, but they can't seem to heal each other. So they kind of split, not because they want to, but because they're just trying to survive within themselves. Jake heads back to battle and Neytiri kind of closes down. I think if you're authentic about life and emotion and relationships, it doesn't matter how crazy your world building is. I'm on a flying fish, but I believe that flying fish, it's a pretty fucking good flying fish, end quote. So it does talk about the difficulty Jake and Neytiri will face in Avatar The Way of Water. I mean, we got teased in interviews by Zoe Saldana around D23 where she said something along the lines of Jake and Neytiri will be tested, their relationship will be tested, their family will be tested. So I do see a scenario where Neytiri goes back to the Metkayina and Jake continues war, continues vengeful hate towards Quaritch and the RDA, and through that is potentially where he is captured, because we know he gets captured based on the trailer, so that is a possibility. But it is going to be hard seeing these two go through the split. I don't think it's going to be permanently. I think at the end of the movie they're going to come back together and through some sort of battle, like maybe Quaritch fights Jake and Neytiri fights Varang in the same area kind of thing, and through that they're gonna reconnect in some way and then be like, you know, we never should have split apart. At least that is my theory. As for the image that was given alongside the article, as you can see, it is a beautiful image of Jake on top of his Ikran, and you can see he's holding a gun in his hand. Interesting that he's holding a gun here, because I remember through the marketing from Avatar The Way of Water, in a scene where he was on top of the skim wing, he was actually holding a gun, but the marketing made it out to be a spear. But yeah, he is on top of the Ikran here. You can see he's riding in front of the Wind Traders, in front of these massive structures. You can see the far end is one of them, and then also right behind him is another structure. So he's obviously protecting them, I'm thinking. I mean, based on the trailer, it looked like some of them had these massive crossbows on the side. But yeah, considering that he's flying in front of them with this weapon, makes me think that he's just kind of protecting these big structures. And also looking at the surrounding area, it does look like he's arriving, or they're arriving in the forest area, probably as they're getting back to their home. It does remind me of one of the first pictures we saw of Jake in Avatar: The Way of Water, but I do like this shot nonetheless. But what I would like to know from you is, what do you think about this whole thing between Jake and Neytiri, and what do you think will be the outcome of their relationship? Let me know in the comments below, and for more Avatar content, have a look at the rest of my channel. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.